All right, what is up, YouTube? Not just YouTube, but really anyone who's out here just curious. And I am actually going to start. Let me get my microphone close up. I'm actually going to start a sort of just random series. Unfortunately, it's going to be random. And the reason why is because I don't like to do video editing. And so this presentation is off the dome because I've been thinking about a lot of things because that's just what I do as the wacko mortal that I am. And I do like my channel name, The Spacetime Adventure. The reason why I call my channel what it is because we like to take deep dives into just all kinds of stuff, things and stuff mostly. But what I really mean is it starts with the material world, but it doesn't end there. And the thing is because we're kind of trying to seek some truth. I think we're seeking the truth. I think that's what this channel is for. We're trying to seek the truth. But the problem with the truth is that it's fucking hard to find. Can you understand that? Does that make sense to y'all? Like, I have been on this planet for now almost 28 years, and I still don't know what the fucking truth is. Do you understand how frustrating that is? Do you? I don't think you do. I've been trying to figure out the truth every step of the way, and I've come to realize that it's really hard to find because my monkey brain can only know so much, and that's just what it is. And so, I can just try to just talk to y'all because I wish I had cooler slides and presentation and just show you cooler things. But unfortunately, I don't want to do any of that stuff. So if anybody wants to work for me and just help be a video editor for me, that would be super, super great. You can just send a comment to me and we'll find a way to get in touch, I'm sure. I don't even think I have an email on my YouTube account, but that's okay. We'll figure that out in due time. I'm right now just aiming on developing good connections, even if it's a bad deal, because we can then work something out. So with that said, I really hope you enjoy these rants on YouTube because, by the way, I guess I should say it for the record, I've been actually having a lot of difficulty finding good work. It's not that I can't do labor. I obviously can. I mean, I'm a young man. I have a lot of dexterity and ability, but the problem is that I often find myself either thinking that my supervisor could do a better job or thinking that the job itself is kind of a waste of time. And that's kind of just been my experience. I've been in college for like a long time, like way too long. So I have a lot of student debt to pay off. So at the very least, I know that at some point I have to make a dollar or two. But I'm literally at a point right now, starting this week, where my car's catalyst just got effed up. So my car is, for all sakes and purposes, totaled. It's going to be like an $1,800 repair, and I know I am not going to. I don't have the money for it. Yeah, I just don't have the money for it. I probably shouldn't talk about my finances online in that way, right? So, if you want to help this wacko self, wise guy over here, help if you want to be of any help. I don't know, just try to make these videos viral. That's all I really need to do at this point. Is just find a way to get a video that has 1 million views, and then I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be, sunshines and rainbows, and all life answers will be figured out. But no, the truth is, I have about 20 days before before I'm gonna have to go work at the McDonald's down the road. Right? Basically, I don't even know if they're hiring, frankly. Because anyways, yeah. So because of that, these next few days, I don't really have anything to do but to work on my YouTube channel. So definitely expect just more uploads and just more things. I think the goal right now is just to put content out there and just let the YouTube algorithm gods kind of take care of the rest. Because all I'm really going to do, folks, is just sit in front of this camera and talk. That's all I really have planned out. There's a lot of things I can talk about, but hopefully, there's just some interest. And I'm going to have to come up with like interesting titles and descriptions and da 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 da. And hopefully we can just stay on task on one subject at a time. But the reality is that many of these subjects, they definitely intertwine, okay? They definitely intertwine. It's not just, you can't just categorize each subject and expect each subject to be independent of the other. I think they're all connected somehow. And so what are the subjects? Well, as the name suggests, we talk about space-time. So, we can start with at least a basic scientific foundation if you want. We can talk about scientific method. We can talk about all these different titles and whatnot. I think what I'm going to do is actually create a live stream, because then we can kind of get things flowing and I can actually do like in the moment research, because that's going to be a lot more exciting when I can actually like synergize with people on the web than me just here setting up a presentation that I'm going to get really frustrated of doing and then presenting it and then just being really critical of my work and then running into that whole like, I don't know, imposter syndrome or whatever you want to call it, and just getting frustrated with the craft of my work because it's just not to the level of quality that I would want it to be. So that's just inner ego slowing me down. But anyways, we can start with space-time. Now, unfortunately, I, in community college, only went as far as special relativity in physics. So I don't really know Einstein's general theory of relativity because you need to know tensor calculus. That stuff is pretty freaking hard. My math skills are just not where they need to be. But if anyone wants to tutor me in tensor calculus, definitely feel free to reach out. I would be willing to learn from you. What else? What's the next subject? Well, I like travel, folks, and I would consider myself in part an anthropologist too, because I just found human beings to be really interesting people, really interesting creatures with a lot of ideas, thoughts, and feelings. And speaking as someone who's come from a mixed background of the so-called races. Don't get me started with that, by the way, okay? I'm a human, okay? That's the only race I can really identify with, because I'm neither white, I'm neither black, I'm neither Hispanic, I'm definitely not Latinx, I'm still Latino. I don't know why people think I would stop being Latino and call me Latinx like an ex-girlfriend. No, I'm still Latino, folks. So I'm a mix of things. I look Arab, I look Indian or something like that. So what race am I? I don't fucking know. I don't know what check boxes to check. So I usually just try to check as many as I can. So when they ask me two or more races, anyway, okay, boom. We've established anthropology as another area of interest. And I think with that, it complements the idea of travel. It's not enough just to see a place. You got to actually go out and visit that place and actually visit the people and know their customs, know the local customs. So that's another corner of area that's really interesting. And then I think probably the area that probably demands the most amount of work, in my opinion, is the metaphysics. I did create a podcast series. You can check it out. It's still there. I kind of stopped doing it. But I was just trying to explore just like, what is beyond, what is in the unknown. And I would argue that metaphysics is the unknown. It's kind of like the pathfinding of science in a way, but you can't use measurement. You can't use empirical measurement. So what do you use? You pretty much use philosophy or religion or whatever other tool you can to just get a better understanding of what is out there in the unknown. We'll say the subconscious. How about that? So you already know we're already entering some interesting metaphysical waters just with that subject. And I think that's the proper term to kind of encompass theology, spirituality, or any other hybrid of that kind. I think the most practical area that I also want to spend a lot of time learning about, I have been just naturally, has been history. And I do like history. And it's a very just enriching area. Personally, I found military history, the study of wars, to really, really be a place where you really get to see the spirit of humanity. You get to see the good and the bad and the ugly. And so for some reason, World War II has kind of been this sort of black hole for me. And as the deeper you dive, you start entering like National Socialism ideology, communist ideology. You're trying to understand what capitalism is. You're trying to understand how does this lead to practical outcomes. So I'm probably going to make a future channel on that's just really dedicated to the raw history. And maybe I can get my ass to actually do that at some point, but I'm going to have to finish reading some of these heavy books. But we'll say essentially that falls under history, military history, and political science in some ways. So that's another cornerstone of a subject that I'm really interested in. And there was one more that for some reason is now slipping my mind. Oh, I think I remember now. Well, the thing about history is that if you go deep enough into history, you're eventually going to cross paths with these ancient civilizations. And whatever the heck they were believing in, it makes you wonder what they were believing in. So this is a big shout out to Joe Rogan. This is a big shout out to, I guess, the Egyptians and whoever else came before them. For all we know, folks, humanity has been around way longer than we actually think. And I like the Stephen Graham sort of kind of hypotheses, if you want to say, in which humanity may be far older than we actually give it credit. Who knows? And then, of course, for any of you science fiction fans out there, you can just kind of change the vector of your analyses. Instead of looking back into the past, you can instead focus into the future. And essentially, the territory you cross paths with there is science fiction. So this is where I got to say shout out to Isaac Asimov. And so science fiction to me is almost like an attempt to predict the future in a way, or attempt to analyze the future. And the more craft you can put into in the science fiction, the more genuine it seems to be. There's a lot of lousy science fiction out there, frankly, but when it's done well, it's like, man, that seems really realistic. I think the Foundation series was a very compelling story. I really like that one. But it's not the only one. I think Blade Runner, for example, it's a strong criticism on capitalism, for example, or maybe it's communism. It's hard to say. So, any rate, hopefully you enjoy these YouTube series. But this is basically the intro of my video, and then we're gonna talk about just one subject at a time, and maybe I'll do the live stream soon and go from there. So, yeah, peace out. Take care of yourselves. Peace.